Hey everyone, so today we're talking about how to set up your altar at home in a way that will facilitate your child's spontaneous learning and love for Krishna. So here's a look at our altar. Everything's very low, enough for the children to easily reach it. We're going to get into a little bit of detail about each of the activities we have on our altar. Firstly, we have all of our instruments down here. Those are there always that the children can get out whenever they want to. We also have a basket of kartals that this is usually what they tend to go towards, and gongs and shakers. Down here we have a box of small child-sized japamala. Now the way that I would introduce this, I might sit with them, especially if they see me chanting and they ask what am I doing, I would sit with them and I would show them how each of the beads represents one of the gopis, and this is Krishna at the top, and we talk about how you hold each bead and you chant a mantra on it. And when you're chanting that mantra, it's really like having a conversation with Krishna. You can tell him whatever you want to tell him. If you're having a hard day, you can sit and by chanting with him and thinking what you're feeling, that he will hear you, and it's a great way to talk to Krishna and connect with him. So this is something that I leave on my shelf that they can get out whenever they'd like to. You'd be surprised how often they get it out, actually. They really enjoy it, and especially seeing us doing it often. I also have a little mat for them over here that they can sit on. I think they really enjoy that as well, getting out their mat and having a place to sit. So those are things that are there kind of always. The other thing that we have over here is our RT tray. The RT tray is a real RT tray. It's not a toy or anything, so they feel really excited to use it. It's all brass. We use real ghee wicks and real incense that they're able to light. We use fresh flowers when we can. They put real water in here, and they really get to offer RT. We have a candle that we light. I'll start out by having them light a match and then light the candle, and then they start by making sure they have their incense and their ghee wick in the RT tray. Ghee wicks themselves is an activity that I'll have on the shelf, making them. That's another thing they like to do. They'll get it all set up. I'll help them with the candle, and I'll be there to supervise the offering of the actual things that are really lit on fire. Otherwise, they completely do everything else themselves. I have this chart that they follow. For my younger children, I'll have them just go through the sequence, and as they get older, they can learn the names of things and how many times to offer each item. They have their bell over here that they use for offering RT or offering Boga. And then on our wall over here, we've hung up the fans, and they love to offer those to fan Krishna. That's a pretty regular thing they do on a daily basis. The other thing I will show you real quick is this book that I've made. I actually have a set of activities that go with our RT tray. The first time that we do RT, or every once in a while we'll review it. This is just a really simple book that talks about the explanation of what is RT and what each item is and why we offer it. So this way they're getting a really strong understanding of what they're doing. They're not just going through the motions. I'll go through them with this, and then I also have created some Montessori nomenclature cards or 3-part cards that we'll go over. Mostly that we'll do that in our classroom, but since we don't have school for a while, it's here with my children. The other thing that I have either somewhere in their room near their clothes when they're getting dressed, or really anywhere that they would enjoy putting it on, wherever you have a mirror and a comb, perhaps for them to brush their hair. This is just applying Tilak. This is just a jar of Tilak over here, and then an eyedropper that they can wet the Tilak with. This is a little stamp that actually works quite well for them, and this is a cotton swab for them to clean it up if they need to. And the way I'll present this is I'll usually put it on myself. I'll show them how to do it, and I'll say Om Keshavaya Namaha, I'll put it on myself, and then I'll let them do it on their own and just practice it as they go. And then this is our offering plate that I keep in my kitchen. I usually keep it pretty low so that they can get it out. Whenever they're cutting up an apple for snack or anything like that, they'll go ahead and they'll get out the offering plate and they'll offer it to Krishna when they'd like to. Over here we have a shelf, and this is kind of something that I rotate activities out every once in a while. The first thing on it is our Didi dressing. Now, a lot of times we like to have, you know, a stack of Didi clothes, and it's not as inviting and it's kind of difficult for them to get out. So I'll usually only put a couple of outfits out at a time so that it's really easy for them to access. And then here I have a tray. And this has, you know, a few necklaces for Gopal, a few crowns, some peacock feathers. He has a flute. He has 2 different flutes that they can choose from. This is a box for his earrings and then a box of glue tack. And the way I will do this is I'll give them a lesson the first time. We'll go through it with them, and I'll show them how to undress each thing and take it off and then put it away on the shelf and then choose a new set of, you know, clothes and jewelry and everything, and then dress them again. So I'll go with that. I'll go through that with them the first time that we do it. We'll do it together, and then after that it's pretty much they do it completely on their own. Sometimes they might need help putting Gopal's dress on. It's a little tricky to get it around his arms, but otherwise they'll, whenever they want to do that, they'll go ahead and dress him. The next thing we have on our shelf is a basket with some scissors and a needle and thread. And this, again, whenever they, you know, if they picked some flowers outside, or if we have bought some flowers from the store, this is something that they can get out and take to their table, and they just cut the flower heads off. Again, I'll usually give a lesson maybe the first time they're doing it, show them how to thread the needle, how to lay out a pattern, and how to string it. But then once they've had a lesson, they can go ahead and take that off whenever they want to use it. The other thing I also have around is a few vases. So this is, you know, kids often pick flowers and bring them in and give them to you, and you have nowhere to put them. So by just having a couple of vases around, they can really easily fill these with water and then put their flowers in there and put them on the altar. Since it is Ram Nomi tomorrow, we've been reading the story of Ram, and we'll read a few pages here and there. And then someone gave us these really sweet little dolls, or little wooden dolls. There is Hanuman, Lakshman, Sita, Ram, a golden deer, Kumbhakarna, and Ravana. And they love to use these to just kind of reenact little stories, the stories that they've read. Down here, we have our Didi bathing work, which is essentially just a bowl. We have a pitcher for warm water. This is a small dish that they put tilak in and lemon juice, and they use a cotton swab to polish the Didi. They'll take the tilak and lemon juice and polish the Didi, and then they'll use this pitcher to pour warm water and rinse him off. They use these spoons to kind of scoop the warm water and pour it back over him to rinse him. So what I'll have them do with this is bring everything to the table and set it up, get the warm water and everything ready to go, and then I'll have them undress Gopal and bring him to the bowl and put him in the bowl, and then polish him and dry him off and bring him back to the altar and dress him. And I'll usually, again, go over that once or twice with them. If they need any assistance, I'll help them, but otherwise they do that completely on their own, and it's really sweet to see them do it. They love doing it because you can really see him get shiny as you're polishing him. It's really cool to see. I also have them use that for if they want to polish any of the items that are on the Archie tray. They're also made of brass, so if they wanted to polish any of those, they can use the same work for that. This is actually goes with that work. This is how they grind the tilak. This is just a small grater, a little paintbrush, and then a jar, and I'll just put a chunk of tilak out at a time as we need, and they will grate the tilak into a powder like this, and then they'll sweep it up with this little brush and sweep it into this jar, and then this is what they use to polish him. They'll take a scoop from there. The other thing that I have on here is a cup full of cotton swabs so that they can restock when they're finished, and a stack of towels that they can dry Gopal with. And then I also make sure to have a laundry basket over here. I'll kind of have this like within reach, so when they're finished, they really know where to put everything. If they have a laundry basket nearby that they can put the towels in. This is actually a little mat that I have for them to put out when they're offering Archie, and this is one that we made on our loom in our classroom, so they really love using that because they got to make it. There's a few more activities that I have out or that I rotate. I have a couple of Bhagavad Gita verses that are kind of broken down into a little bit more of a hands-on explanation. A couple more Sanskrit activities that we've kind of rotated out, but mostly these are the general, get them used to it. When there's a festival, we usually get out, we'll do an Abhishek together, and that's really sweet for them to do. So I hope this can get you started in setting up your home altar, and we'll continue to make more videos as there are more works that we have available. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.